Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, it is yet another bright and sunny day, which is very strange for this part of the world right now. But anyway, I'll take it if I can get it. Anyway, today I thought I would take a bit of a trip down memory lane and look at some of the bikes that I remember in movies, because after all, it was a movie that got me into riding. So I thought I'd go back and look at some of the Harleys that have been in movies, and there's been a ton, so I'm probably going to miss a ton. And I don't know how long this will go, but hey, let's have a look at some of them. So, speaking of a movie, or the movie that got me into riding, is one of the most iconic movies ever made, and that is, of course, Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Now, this is, of course, the 1991 Fat Boy that was in Terminator 2. This bike was black with an 80-inch engine, and man, when Arnold stepped out of that biker bar, all decked out in leather, sat on that Fat Boy with Bad to the Bone playing, at 13 years old, I was sold. And actually, a little bit of trivia here, one of the bikes in the movie was actually auctioned off in 2018 for about $480,000. Now, speaking of the Fat Boy, we go to another movie with actually two Fat Boys in it, and that is Wild Hogs. Now, this was a terrible movie with some nice bikes. The four main characters all rode Harleys in this movie. As the name would suggest, Travolta rode on a Screaming Eagle Fat Boy. Tim Allen rode on a 2006 Fat Boy. Martin Lawrence rode a Softail Springer, and William H. Macy rode a 1200 Sportster. And the only actor with any actual riding experience in this movie was Travolta, because they all ended up having to take about a month of riding lessons just to handle the bikes, with actually Tim Allen on the Fat Boy admitting that he dropped it more than anyone else. Now, another hugely iconic movie as far as motorcycles go is Easy Rider. Now, this movie came out in the summer of '69, and not many bikes are as iconic as the Captain America bike rode by Peter Fonda in this movie. This was another movie I thought was horrible, where the bikes were the best part. The Captain America bike is a 1950s panhead taken from a police bike frame. It's a raked out chopper that's easily recognizable by its teardrop gas tank, stars and stripes painted. It's got long rake, king and queen seat. But I should also mention the Billy bike rode by Dennis Hopper. While not quite as popular, this was also a chopper, but it was based off a 1950s Hydra-Glide with a flamed out paint job. Now, if we're talking about Captain America, we can talk about three of the Marvel films that Captain America was in which he rode a Harley in all three of those movies, and a different Harley in each one. The first movie, Captain America: The First Avenger, he rides a 1942 WLA, also known as the Liberator, with a few extra gadgets, of course, added for the movie. In the Avengers, he uses a black 2012 Softail Slim, and in the Winter Soldier, he opts for a 2014 Street 750. Now, how about Rocky 3? Now, this movie I remember with Mr. T, Hulk Hogan in it, and we've got to talk about the motorcycle that Rocky rides in this movie. And that is a 1981 Shovelhead Electra Glide. The color scheme was interesting. It was yellow and black with the head of a stallion on the gas tank. And I'm kind of surprised that Stallone did not keep the bike, but it did end up selling at auction for about $200,000. And actually, another little bit of trivia, if I remember right, it was Stallone who actually asked Jesse James of West Coast Choppers to build him a bike, but Jesse refused because Stallone wanted it to be yellow, and Jesse James said, "We don't make yellow bikes, so I'm not going to make you one." All right, 2 words for this next movie, and that is Black Death. And this is the bike that was in the movie Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. This was a raked out 89 FXR built by Bartels. The gas tank was left in primer with playing cards for artwork. There are a couple of bikes made for this movie, and one of the originals now belongs to former New York Hell's Angel actor, stuntman, and bodyguard Chuck Zito. Actually, on a side note, he did put out a book in 2002 called Street Justice, which is actually an interesting read for any one percenter fans out there. Now, I have to admit, this next movie is a guilty pleasure of mine, and that is Stone Cold, starring Brian Bosworth. The movie came out in 1991, coincidentally the same year as Terminator 2 and Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man, so 91 was a good year for Harleys in movies. The star of the movie, former NFL player Brian Bosworth, reportedly rode his own motorcycle in this film. To be honest, there seems to be differing opinions on what model this bike actually was. I've heard customized Superglide and Lowrider most often. One site even called it a custom Softail, but I would say the shocks on the back of the bike would beg to differ. Now, X-Men Origins had the character Wolverine riding a Harley. Hugh Jackman rode a black 1964 Duo Glide in this movie. The bike had a white Harley logo on the tank, and notably it was missing a few things such as a windshield, crash guards, and saddlebags. Most likely this was done just to make the bike a little lighter and better handling for things like the chase scene. Zed's dead, baby. And those are the words uttered by Bruce Willis while he sits atop what is said to be a modified 1986 Superglide, and this is of course in Pulp Fiction. Although the bike isn't in the movie for very long, it made a statement with the big bold letters spelling out Grace on the tank, and although Willis says it's a chopper in the movie, I'm not sure it would actually truly fit that chopper description. Okay, and here is, I have to admit, another guilty pleasure, and I don't know if anyone even remembers the 80s movie called Mannequin. Now, if anyone remembers this, and I don't think they probably do, Andrew McCarthy rides a pretty much stock-looking 1987 XLH 883 Sportster throughout the movie. Now, obviously, this is not the most exciting bike in the world, but it is still a Harley nonetheless. Now, I don't want to make this video too terribly long. I've probably bored you guys enough already, but I mean, I could go on and on with all the Harleys over the years that have been in movies. I mean, you could look at things like the V-Rods in Green Hornet and Black Panther. You've got a Springer in Indiana Jones. You've got a Softail Custom in RoboCop 2, a Lowrider in Heathers, a Sportster in Animal House, and on and on and on. And we could be here for hours going through these, but I just wanted to bring up some of the bikes that I remember from movies, especially when I was younger. Little bit trip down memory lane. Maybe it brought some memories back from you guys, but let me know in the comments which ones I missed, because I'm sure I missed a ton. So let me know, but until next time, I will see you later.